Hi guys, this is Adam Dice, and this is another Duel of Legends video, and today we're going to be talking about the class cards and what's new for the second edition of Duel of Legends. We redesigned the class cards for the second edition. We actually did this for the Magicon edition to try it out, and it was really well received, and people really liked it. So we're keeping this for the second edition. We basically took all the cards and made them borderless so that it features the artwork a little bit better, and we redesigned the class cards to be horizontal so they kind of differentiate from the rest of the cards. So if you look at the new design, there are numbers up at the top right hand corner, and that's where we put what the draws are for the class. So now there's a signal for weapon, defense, and spell cards, and those are how many cards you start with. The last one there, the spell cards, that is also the indication of how many spells that class can have. That's their spell limit. And then we have a little description box where we could put descriptions. This really allowed us to go back and change some of the classes that were in the first edition and give them more abilities, because ones like the Nightblade and the Wizard, we use that description space to describe the special draw ability of that class. And doing this system up here, that allowed us to knock that out and give that card a little special ability instead of just describing what the draw was. So I'm going to go through real quick the ones that we didn't do much changing to, the ones that are pretty much the same as they were before. The Berserker is still a 1 weapon, no defense, 3 spell card draw, and he still gets +3 to his attack rating of his weapon. The Knight, he didn't get changed at all. He's still a 1/1/2, and he gets a +1 to his attack rating and +1 to his defense rating. So he didn't get changed at all either. The Necromancer is the same as he was before, but we were able to make this a little clearer on how his summon zombie works, and each stage of that, it takes a turn to get a zombie out. Once you have a zombie out, this is, it gives you +2 to your weapon, and then you can sacrifice the zombie to nullify damage. So his description became a little bit clearer and allowed us to clarify that a little bit. The Ranger is exactly the same as she was before. She's still a 1/1/3, and she still gets +1 to any weapon that she has, and if that weapon's a ranged weapon, she gets +2 to that attack rating. And then the Vampire Lord, he is also the same as he was before. He gets a bleed damage if he doesn't damage anyone, and if he does, then he gets to gain life. So he's pretty much the same. He's still a 1/1/3. These are the cards that have really big changes to them. The Claret being the first one, hers isn't as big of a change. Basically what we did was we were able to clarify that her ability is an activated ability, and we called it Divine Touch, so we gave it a name. And we also added +5 to her healing ability, so now she can heal 10, and it still removes all bleed counters, and it's still a one-time use in the match. She's still a 1/1/3, so her draws didn't change. We just buffed her up a little bit and felt like she wasn't quite as effective at 5. Next is the Thief. The Thief is still a 1/1/3, but we also gave her an ability. We called it a swap item. It's basically you can swap any item of yours with someone else's. It has to be the same type, but you swap all the enchantments and everything that goes with those cards, and you basically do a little switcheroo on them. So that's also a one-time during the match. You can only do it once, and it does have to be the same type, so you can't take somebody's defense card and give them your weapon. It has to be of the same type. The next one is the Nightblade. She's still a 2/0/3, so she gets 2 weapons, no defense card, and 3 spell cards. This is one where we were able to give her an ability by taking that draw description out of the description area. So now we gave her an ability called Double Strike, where she can attack a single player with both her weapons at the same time. Those weapon attack ratings are half rounded down. So let's say you got a mace and a katana, they're both 6. So if you attack with both of those at the same time, each one would be only 3. But the benefit to that is usually a player can only block one of those at a time. So you're guaranteed to get one of those in. this was a much improved ability for the Nightblade. Made her a lot more effective. It gave you something to do with her. So this was a well-received change that we made. Next is the Wizard. The Wizard was pretty much one of the weakest characters before because he basically didn't get a defense item to defend himself with, or a weapon item to attack with. He just had a defense item, and he had to do all his damage with spells. You get 4 spells, but that sometimes wasn't enough. So basically what we gave him was a milling ability. They call it milling, where you can mill through the deck and get the spells that you need. So what he does is, at the end of your turn, you draw 2 spell cards instead of just 1. So that way, even if you're over that spell limit of 4, you still get to pick which spells that you want. So if you play a spell on your first turn, you got 3 spells left, you get to draw 2, and then you have 5 spells to pick from. So you really get your choice of what spells that you want to use, which we felt like that really fit the Wizard a lot better. This has been one that is more of a recent change that we're still kind of play testing around. So we'd like to get some feedback on this one if we can get out to some play testing places and get some feedback with. The next one, and last one, is the Battle Mage. The Battle Mage we changed a couple of times. We're actually thinking about changing this again. The most recent change, or the first change that we made, was to give him +1 to his attack rating of his weapon and +1 to all spell damage that he does. It worked out pretty well, but then there was another idea to change him to where he adds half of his attack rating of his weapon to all spell damage he does. That way, whatever weapon that you have will affect those spells and make those spells more effective. So these are the 2 ideas that we're kind of bouncing back and forth on. So this is one of those instances where you, the players, and fans can give us feedback on which thing you think is more effective. So that's what's new with the class cards. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to go over what's new with the weapon cards. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you sign up for the newsletter. Until then, stay legendary.